And many times when you're replacing a roof or you're doing any type of a spray-on roof system, we find mold and mildew underneath the rubber. That's because there's voids. When you get cold, you get sweating. So what ends up happening over the years is the OSB, typically underneath the roof or plywood, tends to not only mold, but then deteriorate and rot, causing soft spots. When we get soft spots, it just tends to grow and grow. Next thing you know, you can have sidewall damage, etc. So the problem with those type of roofs are basically like a void, a roof with a voids in it, is you get deterioration of your actual roof underneath your membrane. Every single roof that's out there prior to Invincible Roof system, you have to maintain regularly. The maintenance on an RV roof typically budgets out to about $250 a year. You may not have to do it the first year, but you might have to do $500 the next year. You may not do it for 3 years, and then you have a $1,000 roof maintenance cost. And that's because all roof systems are basically a membrane, fiberglass, whatever, with accessories bolted to the outside, with basically a paint-on or a caulking that goes around those items. So the front seam, the back seam, the vents, the skylights, the satellite dish, if you have plumbing vents, solar panels, any accessory that is on the roof has to be regularly maintained. And if you don't maintain it, it will leak at one time. It's bound to leak. So when we came up with the Invincible Roof, this was back in 1998 when a company, it wasn't the Rhino lining, it was Rhino lining, came out with basically roof applications for spray-on roofs. It was out in California. Some guy came up with the idea that said, hey, we can put this on the roof. The problem with it is, in a spray-on roof, such as a polyurea type product, there's very limited expansion and contraction. So your typical bed liner product has no expansion and contraction. The other problem is yes, it is somewhat UV stable, but it is not as UV stable as you would like. So you had to basically put a caulking or a protectant over the top of it. So if you've seen those videos a long time, and they're still out there on the internet, they're typically a gray in color they spray them on. Sometimes they're different colors as well. But the problem with having a color other than white is what? Heat. The sun's UV. The heat coming down. And it basically, the more color we have on top of the roof, other than white, you have heat. If you have a fiberglass roof, you have deterioration. That means that eventually the gel coat will deteriorate and it starts putting streaks down the sides of your coaches. Rubber roof, the same way. Yes, it's got a 10-year warranty. Does not mean it's going to last 10 years. Does not mean that you have to seal it every 10 years. It just means that the average life of the membrane is 10 years. There are companies out there that are basically painting a roof sealant over the top of rubber and TPO and even fiberglass. It's just basically a roll-on. They'll come right to your residence, charge you $4,000 to do nothing but basically remove all the caulking and put pole barn paint all over the top of the rubber or TPO and or fiberglass. And they say they have a guarantee on it. I've had customers with those guarantees, and they send you another quart of sealant to put over the failed area. When you paint any type of product like TPO or rubber, you deteriorate that product. It's like painting a tire. Rubber deteriorates. When rubber deteriorates, it needs to be replaced. It is no longer stable for basically water protection. If it was a vertical tire, underneath a coach or something, that's one thing. But when it is the protectant membrane on top of a flat or slightly radius item, there can be issues. There will be issues. We've recently been having a lot of problems with people where they got Class A motorhomes. How many have roof-mounted awnings on a fiberglass type coach? Anybody here? Okay, not yet. So we don't need to cover those. So when we physically put on the Invincible Roof, and the reason why we call it the Invincible Roof is literally it's over 3,500 pound tensile strength. You can swing a hammer at the stuff, it's not going to go through. Hail damage does not hurt hail damage. It quiets down the actual rain on the outside. It provides a little more insulation from the outside, as well as our top coat system is a polyurea based system that is an alphatic, which means it can be white. If it's not an alphatic, it can't be white. So if you look at our roof systems, you'll see that it's nice and clean. It's slick looking. That allows better transportation going down the road because there's less drag. There's no maintenance on this roof forever. You don't have to go around vents. You don't have to go around seals. If you ever happen to have an item that fails and needs to be replaced, we do have a top coat where we can send it to you. If you happen to not be in our area, you mix them 50-50, you dump it around the outside. If you want to add an accessory, same exact way. It's nothing more than putting a penetration into the roof, adding the proper alphatic sealant over the top, and you're good to go. One thing when we do a roof system which is unique to us, if you look at our roof, you'll see, and any of our other items, you'll see even from the videos, you'll see aluminum service boxes. And what our aluminum service boxes do is allow you in the future to replace accessories that are failing. So say for instance, you have a brand of satellite dish that becomes obsolete. You need to run a new cable. Coaxes last pretty much forever, but they sometimes go bad as well. The control cables for an RF mogul is different than a Winegard, other than a Kingdome. All things are different. If you're doing one grade of solar panels, they have different, maybe you've got a solar panel system on the roof which is more in series versus in parallel, and you need to change it. They need to run bigger wiring to the roof. It's nothing more than taking off a service box, and you can pass through going down into the inside of the roof or your wireway going down to your actual coach, or down to the bottom. If you want to, so basically what I'm getting at is if you want to do anything down the road, if anybody has to service it, they have the ability to do that. Other than drill, some other guys, they're basically putting on a polyurea coat, which is a great product. Polyureas are not all compared equally because they are all different chemical makeups. But we do not do paint over the top of the roof. And the reason why we don't is in the event that you need to respray an area with a polyurea roof that has been painted or has got a sealant of any way, shape, or form. Sealants will fail in the future. If you got a pole barn and you have the roof sprayed, about every 10 years you got to call the guy back out to respray areas because it fails. So our system is premier for the industry as no maintenance. It's got a lifetime warranty that is transferable from an owner to an owner to an owner. Therefore, the value of the roof continues with the vehicle forever, as long as that vehicle is in existence. Okay? When we do a rubber roof or a TPO, the entire roof comes off. No rubber, no TPO. We do not coat over the top of rubber or TPO. Why? Polyurea doesn't stick to it. You'll find companies out there putting aluminum strips on the roof. And what that is for is that is their bonding system to bond or basically help the polyurea stick to the aluminum, which is then screwed to the roof. The problem is every 1.5 feet, you're going to have an aluminum strip going down the roof. What about that aluminum, or what about the space in between? You're going to end up having loose roofs in the future. When you spray polyurea directly to wood, if you spray it to aluminum, if you spray it to fiberglass, it is a permanent barrier, void-free. Why put it to rubber, which would not be a void-free product? Okay? So that's why we do it that way. As far as, we're not the inventor of polyurea. Polyurea was invented a long time ago for the trucking industry. It is used huge and widely in the oil and gas industry. What we did is we perfected it for the application, or for the application to a recreational vehicle industry. When you bring a roof to us, or when you bring your RV to us to have it done, we take every single precaution to do the roof 1,000%. If you have a cracked skylight, you'll get a new skylight. We're not gonna, if you wanted us to paint over the top of it, yes, we would do it. But why? Why would we want to spray over the top of a failed piece of plastic? Just like your refrigerator vents, your plumbing vents, we always put brand new vents on. And the reason why is we want that roof to last forever. So one thing with our top coat, like I said, it is a ceramic type property, polyurea base, that actually reflects the heat and the sun back up to the sky. You'll find that our roof system on the inside is about 10 degrees cooler inside the coach than coaches that have got failing roofs or other materials on the roofs. If you have a fiberglass roof, when the gel coat deteriorates, it actually starts accepting heat. It doesn't have the gloss anymore, so then it's not reflecting, it's basically absorbing. TPO and rubber is the same exact way. It will absorb heat. When it absorbs heat, that's what causes it to fail. So why not put a roof system on that makes it cooler, quieter, and leak-free for the lifetime of the coach? Do we have any questions right now, guys? Not yet? Okay. So when we do, I'll set MasterTech a little bit about us. We started back in 1997. I got in the industry when I was 8 years old. I moved to Elkhart, that's where my wife is from, in 1990, well, about 1995 is when we moved it. 1 year after he was born. So anyways, and we loved Elkhart to the point because it is the mega capital of the world. There's a lot of talent in Elkhart, Indiana. To date, right now, as of last month, Elkhart, Indiana shipped 40,000 RVs from Elkhart, Indiana for the globe. That's how big the industry is there. So we have a lot of specialized talent. And that's one reason why I chose Elkhart, besides it was my wife's hometown, is that physically we have a lot of talent. Whether we're changing roof systems, whether we are changing sidewalls, whether we are doing accessories, whatever we are doing to a recreational vehicle, we have the talent in-house to be able to do that. We do everything bumper to bumper. We do from engine maintenance to any accessory being changed or added to an RV, performance related, from shocks, struts, tires, anything on that recreational vehicle, whether it be on a trailer, fifth wheel, pickup camper, motorhome, to a Prevost bus. We do everything. We do aftermarket headlight upgrades. We do LED upgrades to the latest and greatest electronics inside and or outside of the coach. So with us, we do everything. Flooring, carpeting, cabinetry, Wi-Fi improvements. Anything that you want to have done or changed in that RV, we do that. If you want to have new countertops put in. So what that means is that you can now have your RV personalized to what your living preferences are. What don't you like about the RV is what I tell people. You know, you walk into an RV out on a lot and it's like, you know what? I like that. That can be put normally in your coach. So we provide endless opportunities and endless options for you guys to update and or change your coach. And with our Invincible Roof system, it runs $175 a running foot. Yes, our products are a little more expensive, but they are far superior to any other system out there. Okay? Any other questions, guys? Nobody? Well, that was simple.
16 minutes.
What's that?
16 minutes.
16 minutes left?
No, it took you 16 minutes.
It took me 16 minutes. Sorry, I talk a little fast. Any other questions on this product up here, or on putting in a coach or anything like that? Yes, sir?
This all has to be done at your...
We're in Elkhart, Indiana only, yes. In the center globe of the U.S. So there are other companies that have other locations, but those are all franchised locations. So it's not one company actually doing it. You're basically left at the mercy of whoever they have over there doing the applications. One thing about us, like I said, we take every single precaution for improving the coach, and we are specialists in every single coach. Newmar Recreational Vehicles, we are a service center. Tiffin, we are a service center. Grand Design, we are a service center. Forest River, we are a service center. All of the elite, and even from Cornerstone and on, we represent, if not the product itself, or can do anything within that coach. From Silverleaf Electronics to whatever you've got in the coach, we are specialists in that. Okay? Yes, sir. Hold on one sec. What was that, sir?
price of $175.
$175 a running foot.
Does it matter how many items are on the roof?
It does to some point. So if you got a Class A motorhome that's got like Girard awnings on the sides, then we charge additional to take those on and off, because you can't work around it and do the roof correctly in any application. So, you know, our technicians, we have cranes, we could take a Girard awning off and on in 2 hours. Okay? So it's about having the proper facility to do the job correctly.
How long does it take?
Normally takes 4 to 5 days, depending on the amount of accessories. Some of the travel trailers, fifth wheels, those can be done in a couple of days. But we do, like if you got a rubber roof, that has to come off. You know, it also depends on how many accessories you have that are physically failing or not failing. So we do free roof inspections here at the rally. We'll come out, we'll evaluate it. We'll give you a total cost out the door with what you're looking at. Okay?
So when you take the rubber off, replace the plywood too?
No, you do not. No, you do not have to pull that off.
Because you can't get all the glue off.
You don't have to take the glue off. The glue is actually glued to it, so with the polyurea actually going right to the glue, it is still glued 100%. The problem with TPO or rubber roof, when it's stuck to the glue, okay, TPO has hair on the backside of it, therefore it gives voids. Okay, your rubber roofs, a lot of those even have like either a fiber or some of and that's what the manufacturers have gone to now. Most of them all have like a fiber or a membrane on the backside. It cheapens them up a little bit. So we're able to knock down any fibers that are remaining on the roof, or we torch them off, and it basically shrinks them down to nothing, and then we physically do the roof system over the top. And the one thing about it is, if you have a roof problem existing in the coach, so we just got done with a very high-line coach, I won't say the brand, but the top awning mount was physically leaking. And there it took out the ceiling on the inside. And it was nothing more than one accessory this big by that big that you couldn't get to because the awning case is built over the top of it, and the customer never knew. I got a fiberglass roof, I don't have to seal it. Yeah, you do. We're doing it in Integra right now. The amount of sealant that's on that fiberglass roof, from the roof rails to all the decking and everything in between, it's a lot of accessories. And all that has to be taken off, cleaned 100%, and then the roof sprayed on. When we have an accessory, we actually bring the coating up on the accessory. So therefore, it's not no longer at right at the roof level, it's actually at an elevation. If you look at our accessories, similar to like our vents, if we have a vent that we replace and maybe it's a flat roof, we want that accessory to come up a little bit higher. So we put a 5-ply underlayment under that accessory, giving it a little bit of an elevation. Skylights, we always do that too, because skylights are prone to hold water. So what we do is we do a 1/4-inch underlayment all the way underneath the skylight that we replace, or we take your existing one off, elevate it, put the skylight back on. And then you'll see the coating actually come right up above. Your front and your back seams, this doesn't have a back seam. The front seam up here, that is actually sprayed directly right over. We can actually take the fiberglass or your roof membrane and actually cut that open down the middle, re-support it from underneath the roof, re-screw it down, and then spray the roof over the top, and you see absolutely no damage whatsoever. So say for instance you have a roof where the back corner's rotted out. We can replace just that one section and do the spray on over the top, and you never know that it had ever been done. So that gives us a lot of diversity in physically fixing the coach correctly and affordably. So your typical rubber roof replacements have always been in the $6,000 to $9,000 range to put a new rubber roof on. And I used to hate doing it because it was a pain in the butt. And you know, you do it knowing that in 10 years you got to do it again. What it does is it builds job security. I'm from the school days where it's like there's enough work for me to do out there. I don't need to be creating more work for me in the future. Okay? And that's the formation, that's the mentality of every single person within our operation. And we're over 20 people right now. We have a 40,000 square foot facility with 30-foot ceilings. We get around a coach very easily. And you see this guy over here doing flooring. You see this guy over here doing, this crew, 3 people doing roof systems. We see paint and body and collision over here. We may see cabinetry being built over here. We may see electronics. See a guy turning wrenches in the corner, changing airbags. Another guy's putting in run flats in the front end of the coach. We want to keep you guys safe on the road. We know that, I mean, when you got a house, that is your investment. When you got an RV, it's an investment. To lose that investment to something as simple or to cause a lot of damage, as simple as roof maintenance or a permanent roof sealant system is something that you just got to take advantage of if you can swing it or if you need it. And if you can't afford this system, there are other options out there. If you want to continue to have roof sealant put on your roof, we will do it. It's all what works for you. We know that everybody's got budgets, you know, and we work with anybody we can to keep you guys happy, because we know in the end that if we can't keep as many people in this industry happy, you guys are going to find different careers. So a little bit about the company that we came out with as of last year. We brought out 52 volt to the RV industry. Cutting technology, lithium batteries that are 52 volt. We have air conditioners running off of 14 panels and putting 300 back into the battery banks. You could drive down the road, no generator, running both air conditioners on the coach. So we are cutting edge in every single facet of the recreational industry, and we are constantly looking at successful items that can enter our industry. From GPS radios to a Bose sound system to, you know, a J&L sound system in the roof. We want to make you guys as comfortable as possible. If you wanted a glass dash, new instrumentation in your coach, and you got a diesel pusher, we do Silverleaf Electronics. So like I said, we're a cutting edge shop that does every single thing to a recreational vehicle that a customer would want. Okay? Any other questions? Nope. Well, if you need any other questions answered, we will be going back to our booth over there. We have 6 booths over at the... At what? At the Georgia building. So welcome to answer any additional questions. If you do want to have us go out and physically do an estimate, come out, fill out a form, fill out a card, and we will come out to your site right here at the rally and be able to do a roof evaluation for you. Thank you guys for coming and have a wonderful rally, okay? Be safe, guys.